Hi, I am Dr. Mary Wendt, and this is a video on the importance of examples. There are many reasons why examples are so important. This is in reference to any time that you are writing or any time that you are trying to craft an argument or make a point. So it could be when you are writing on social media or when you're having a discussion with friends. Examples are important for several reasons. One is that they provide clarity. Another is that they will make you credible as a speaker or a writer. They will also help your readers relate to your ideas. They will ensure that your readers understand what you are trying to get across to them. They will demonstrate that you, as a writer or a speaker, have knowledge about what you're talking about. And they will make your ideas more believable. So imagine that that was the entirety of this video. You would think, well, that's not enough. You need more. What you need is examples. So what you're looking for in the depth of understanding of any idea is greater understanding through examples. So let's see what this actually looks like if I give examples for all of these reasons. So the first one is that examples provide clarity. So for each of these slides, I'm going to imagine that I am writing something or I'm discussing something, and then I will walk you through that. So my claim in this particular one is that nonfiction writing has many genres. As a reader, you might think many genres. I can only think of a couple of them: memoir, autobiography. I don't know any more nonfiction genres. But if I give you some examples, then hopefully what I am trying to say is clear. So here are some examples of nonfiction writing genres: recipes, syllabi, grocery lists, eulogies, text messages. All of these are nonfiction writing genres. So then you may be thinking, oh, okay, that's more clear. Now I know what you're talking about. Nonfiction writing isn't just memoirs and autobiographies, but it includes a lot of genres. So in this case, examples make the idea that nonfiction writing has many genres more clear. Another way that examples are important is that they make you more credible as a writer or a speaker. So let's say I'm making the claim that teachers are undervalued and they don't get paid enough. This is an opinion, and you might think, I'm not sure that I trust your opinion. But as writers or speakers, we want to be trustworthy and we want to be credible. So if I give you some examples, then perhaps I will be more credible. So, for example, the average salary of a Mount Pleasant public school teacher is $42,000, whereas the average Michigan annual income is $58,000. So this is as of 2019. So what this means is that teachers aren't paid even the average salary for a Michigan annual income. Teachers also work around 12 hours a day during the week, so their workday is from 7 to 7 or 8 to 8, whereas your average worker works an 8-hour day. And many teachers have to get second night jobs to make ends meet. An example of this: I was very ill last year and hospitalized, and afterwards I had to get Shipt, which is the service that brings groceries to your home. They buy your groceries and bring them to your house for you. And one of my Shipt delivery persons was a teacher. She didn't make enough money just teaching, and she had to get a job delivering groceries to make ends meet. So now that I've given you all these examples, this opinion of mine, teachers are undervalued and they don't get paid enough, makes me more credible. Those examples make me more credible when I make that opinionated statement, and you're more likely to agree with me. Another reason why examples are so important is that they help readers relate to you as a writer and to the ideas that you're trying to get across. So for this example, let's say I'm writing and my claim is that being organized makes life easier. And you might be thinking, makes life easier how? And you might think of some ways that being organized helps your life a little bit, but I want you to relate to what I'm saying specifically. So here's my example. I've been teaching for 17 years, so that's a lot of papers that I have had come in. And in order to make sure that I stay organized, I have a lot of folders. I have a lot of subfolders. So for example, this year I have a folder with the year and the semester. In that folder, I have each class that I taught, and in those folders, I have each paper that the students wrote and all of their papers inside of that. What does this mean, and how does this make my life easier? Let's say 5 years from now, you need a letter of recommendation, and you were in my class. I will very easily be able to find your papers because I have labeled them and I know exactly where they are because I am organized. So I will be able to write you a much better letter of recommendation because I can access your work. This makes my life a lot easier. I get asked to write these letters all the time. Now that I've given you this example and I tell you that being organized makes your life easier, you can relate and you can say, oh, I'm a student and I have my papers just randomly named. I don't put them in folders. They're just all over my desktop. Maybe if I organized all of my papers, my life would be easier. So examples help your readers relate. Another thing that examples do is they help ensure that your readers understand. This is especially important when you are making a claim that has some depth to it, that they may understand on the surface, but they may not understand the complexities or the depth of what you're saying. For example, let's say I'm making the claim that being a parent is a job that never ends. You might be thinking, well, yeah, right, but when students graduate, they're on their own, right? And after that, parents don't have to parent. Well, here's my example of being a parent being a job that never ends. So when I was 55, up to the age of 55, when I was sick, I still needed to call my mother. She was the one who would say the things that would make me feel better, comfort me. She would remind me what to do when I didn't feel well, making sure I was taking care of myself. Sometimes she'd even come visit, right, and help take care of me, make me soup, right? And she passed away last year, this last year, at the age of 94. And I had that feeling that I was an orphan and there was no one there to be my parent anymore. So I got sick several times in this past year and I couldn't call my mom. So I would have to, even after she was gone, I had to remember the things that she would say. So when I say that being a parent is a job that never ends, I actually mean never, up until the day you die, and even after that, it never ends. Hopefully, those examples help ensure that you understand what I mean when I make that claim. Another thing examples do is demonstrate your knowledge as a writer or as a speaker. So let's say I'm making a claim that I know what a comma splice is and I know how to fix it. You might be thinking, well, you do, huh? Well, I'd like you to prove it. I want you to think about this as being an especially important reason for giving examples. Anytime you claim that you know something, you want to make sure you back it up. And this is especially important on things like social media. If you're going to post something and say that you know something or that you have a really strong opinion about something, if you can't back it up, you're going to get jumped all over and people will have something to say about it. So if I can prove to you that I know what a comma splice is, then hopefully you will believe me. So a definition, a comma splice is when you connect or splice two sentences with a comma. That's what a comma splice is. And there are 3 ways to fix it. You can use a period instead of a comma, a semicolon instead of a comma, or you can add a conjunction. Still, this is one of those times when further examples will be even necessary, because what you, as a reader, you're probably thinking, okay, well, you proved that you know what one is and how to fix it, but I'd really like to see that in action. I want an example of this. So here's my example. I went shopping, I bought fruit. Right here, that is a comma. You may not be able to tell. That's a comma. So this is a comma splice because you have 2 sentences that are connected with a comma. So you could fix it by, I went shopping, period, I bought fruit. I went shopping, semicolon, I bought fruit. I went shopping, comma, and I bought fruit. Those are the 3 ways to fix it. I have now, through examples, demonstrated that I know what I'm talking about. So examples are also important for that. Lastly, examples help make ideas believable. So if you are making a claim, stating something that might be difficult to believe or difficult for people to wrap their brains around, and you want to make sure that your readers believe what you say, or at least start thinking about what you have to say, then giving examples will help do that. So let's say I make the claim, words are the most important tools that we have. Readers might be thinking, the most important? Really? Not sure I believe that. Okay? So let me give you some examples. Hitler. He started a world war, and the only tool he had to persuade an entire country to agree with him were his words. He was a very effective public speaker. He was a very effective writer, and through that, he got an entire country to believe that they needed to wipe out entire races of people. Another example is that entire religions are built around the words in books like the Bible or the Quran. Thousands of years of worship, of war, of belief, people's whole lives revolving around these ideas all come from what is written in those books. And another example is that communication between partners is the single most important factor that determines how well your relationship lasts. Every single relationship you're in, good communication is the key to making it work. And communication is words. So I give you those examples because they are 3 ways that words are the most important tools that we have. They start wars. They create religions. They maintain relationships. They are the most important tools that we have. Those examples help make my ideas more believable. So the last question here is, when do I give examples? So anytime you are writing or speaking and you make a claim, you want to back yourself up with examples. Anytime. If you think that someone might not agree with you, you should give examples. So the best way to know if you've made a claim is to put yourself in the shoes of the reader, or the listener for that matter, and you want to ask, is your meaning clear? Are they going to trust everything that you just said? Are they going to be able to relate to what you just said? Are they going to understand the depth of what you mean? Are they going to question whether or not you know what you're talking about? And are they going to believe what you have to say? If the answers to any of these questions is no, they won't trust what I just said, or they might question my knowledge, then you need examples. And that is why examples are so important.